Hello and welcome to Baron's Game Room. I'm Aaron as always, and this week I want to continue my series on advice for people who are trying to make their own tabletop game. Now, if you want to hear my general list of advice or hear me go more in depth on making your first prototype, go to my page and check out those other videos I have on that. But this week, I want to talk to you guys about the next step after you've already had your idea and you've made your first prototype, developing and playtesting your new prototype. Now, my initial advice was to playtest your game. Play it pretty much as much as you can. You probably can't play it too much. But I warned that you can play it too much with the same people. And I mean that. And I'll go into more about that in this video. But also I want to warn that it's also a thing to look out for who exactly you're playing with it as well. Let's talk about that. Now, I have seen many a game designer be very concerned about who they show their game to when it's early on. They're always worried that someone's going to end up stealing their idea, or they're just worried, it's very, self-conscious thing. I go through it too. Any creator goes to that point where, it's so early, I don't know if they're going to like it. You got to push through that, because you need the advice from more than just your close friends. Now, that's not to say you can't have a great group of close friends that you can playtest your game with. Personally, I wish I had some people I could playtest more of my stuff with. But you can't do all of your playtesting in that way. If your game goes from your table to the customer's table, you messed up. Like I mentioned in my first one, playing with the same group over and over again can cause you guys to get used to things in your design, which can mean you'll just look over things that other people are going to find immediate problems with. But you might be asking how you really find these other people. Well, at least for what's worked for me is going out to game stores or conventions or social media. There's actually quite a few game designers out there that you can find all over social media that are more than happy to help you playtest your ideas or give you feedback on some of the stuff you tell them. And again, going out to stores and conventions, setting up your game and just playing with anyone willing to sit down and play. However, the one thing you do need to be careful, and this can be very difficult, is not everyone's feedback is going to necessarily be beneficial to you. You need to have feedback from everyday players because, everyday normal people are going to be a bulk of who you're probably selling your game to. But sometimes the average folk just doesn't really get it. So the long short of this is, you need to play your game a bunch with a bunch of people. Friends are fine, but get it in front of as many different people as possible. Casual people are fine, but also find you some other designer friends. Seriously, it'll help. Now, I also want to go back to one thing I mentioned earlier, where some people can be very scared to show their game to other players because they're worried about someone stealing their idea. The thing about that is, it just doesn't really happen. I've spoken to many other designers in the field. It's something that it comes up regularly. I've seen people try and have people sign NDAs before they share anything about their game. And you're just wasting your time. You're wasting your energy. There's no reason to be concerned about it. It seriously just doesn't really happen. It's just not a thing that happens in the community. As well as, even if it did happen, it's way too easy to get around copyright laws for that kind of thing. There's so few things that someone would have to change about your idea for it to suddenly be their idea that it's never going to hold up in court. As long as they don't literally quote your rulebook word for word with the exact same theme, it's a different game and they'll win. I hope this was helpful to at least some of you out there. Again, the shorts of this all is you need to get your game in front of all the people you can, every different person. But at the same time, understand that not every bit of feedback is necessarily good feedback. It's unfortunately kind of up to you to weed out the good ones from the bad ones. And whereas, it can be very scary to get your game in front of other people and all that, you've got to push past it, and there really is no reason to worry about people stealing your idea. Because, again, it just doesn't really happen, and if it does, there's just really nothing that you can do about it. Oh yeah, and don't forget, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, guys. I seriously want to help you guys out because, really, I want to play your games. See you next time.